Somewhere near every big city in this country, there's a gravel lot behind a chain-link fence full of 3-year-old RVs. Sun-faded decals, one still wearing the dealer sticker in the windshield. These aren't junkers, most of them barely move. Retired couples bought them, chased a dream, and quietly sold them at a loss 18 months later. I've crawled under hundreds of these rigs. I read tire date codes for a living, and I can tell you the brands filling those lots fastest are usually the ones the salesman pushed hardest. A dealer sees a brand, I see which bay it ends up in. Before we start, drop the brand and model year you're shopping right now, because some badges look safe right up until you inspect them. Number 7. The lightweight fifth wheel everybody's truck can supposedly pull. A retired county road crew supervisor, late 60s, came in with a folder of brochures and a half-ton truck he'd owned 11 years and loved too much to question. He'd picked the lightest fifth wheel on the lot, the one with the island kitchen and the fireplace, because the dry weight sticker said his truck could handle it. So I asked him one question, not about tow rating, about payload. What's left on the sticker inside his door frame after passengers, fuel and gear? Because a half-ton usually gives you 1,500 to 2,000 pounds of payload, and a loaded fifth wheel pin weight eats that alive before you hitch up. The math fell apart right there in the parking lot. Here's the part that matters, and it's not in the furniture, it's underneath it. When a brand chases the lightest number in the class, that weight comes off somewhere real. Thinner wall lamination, lighter roof decking, cheaper frame gauge, the exact parts that fail when water gets in. A heavier 4-season build like a Northwood Arctic Fox weighs more because the structure is actually there. That weight is the point. The trade-off is honest. The lighter rig either forces you into a $60,000 truck upgrade, or it quietly overloads the truck you have. And an overloaded half-ton eats tires, cooks brakes, and wanders in a crosswind like it's trying to change lanes on its own. So who should buy the heavier rig? Somebody willing to match the truck to the trailer honestly and camp in real weather. Who should skip it? If you refuse to move past a half-ton, don't lie about payload. Shop smaller instead. Lightweight always gets paid for somewhere. Usually it's the roof. And if a pretty floor plan ever hid an ugly repair bill from you, put the brand and model year below. Somebody shopping right now needs that warning. But weight is the honest problem. The next brand hides its trouble behind a badge people trust for all the wrong reasons. Number 6. The legendary motorhome name that's coasting. A retired high school shop teacher, 31 years in the classroom, walked in wanting the name everybody knows because his father owned one back in the day. Nostalgia is powerful. It's also expensive. He was ready to sign on a current gas coach from a heritage brand purely on reputation. So I walked him over to a 20-year-old unit from the same badge and had him run his hand along the slide seal and the cabinet joints. Then we did the same on the new one. He felt the difference before I said a word. This is where the brochure gets quiet. Brand reputation is a lagging indicator. A name earns its shine over decades, but build quality can drop years before that name catches up, especially after ownership changes and cost cutting. The badge isn't keeping water out. Seals do that. Same money often buys you a quieter competitor with tighter assembly instead of the famous logo, and the premium you'd pay is buying nostalgia, not workmanship. The consequence shows up at years 3 to 5, right when the factory warranty is gone and the slide seals or delamination start talking. The drawback of going quieter, lower resale recognition. You may find yourself explaining the brand every time you sell it. So who should buy the lesser-known coach? Anybody who values current build over a name. Who should skip? If you need brand prestige to feel confident at resale, stick with the badge and go in with your eyes open. A logo doesn't survive a rainstorm. Construction does. That one trades on the past. The next brand sells you a discount that isn't real once you read the tire dates. Number 5. The travel trailer brand that's always on sale. A retired dental office manager and her husband, a former parts counter guy, stood in front of a bunkhouse trailer with a $9,000 off banner slapped across the windshield. That number felt like winning. It felt like they were getting away with something. So I climbed up on the roof and pulled the tire date codes on the new unit sitting in the sun. The roof sealant was already cracking. The tires had been baking on that lot for 2 years. That discount stopped looking like a gift real fast. This is the ugly little math buyers miss. When a brand is permanently, aggressively discounted, that's not generosity. That's the market telling you what the rig is worth. Deep discounting reflects weak resale and high production volume. A better sealed brand like Lance costs more upfront and holds more later. Run it out. You save 9 grand today, then lose several thousand more at resale in 4 years, and you're budgeting for roof resealing, the discount never mentioned. The savings evaporate. The honest drawback of the better built trailer, it costs more upfront, and it's genuinely harder to find clean on the used market. Good ones sell fast, so who should buy it? Anyone planning to keep the trailer long term who wants fewer surprises down the road. Who should skip? If you truly only need 1 season and you'll dump it, the discount rig might be fine. Just Just don't confuse a permanent sale price with a bargain. A brand that's always on sale already told you what it's worth. That discount costs you slowly. The next brand's problem is the one you can't even see until you own it, and it's the one that scares me most. Number 4. The laminated wall trailer with the beautiful smooth sidewalls. A retired nurse who just sold her house in Ohio wanted one clean rig she could manage alone. The dealer kept pointing at the bright interior. She kept mentioning the bubbles she'd seen on a friend's trailer. Smart woman. She was worried about the right thing. She was about to buy a laminated wall travel trailer because the flat, glossy walls looked premium. This is the part you inspect before you fall in love. Laminated walls are layers glued together, and they fail at the edges and seams where water sneaks in. Once air gets between those layers, you get delamination, those ripples and bubbles, and that's often a structural write-down you can't undo. A molded fiberglass trailer like an Oliver or a Casita has no wall seams to fail that way. It's a shell. And here's the reversal. Molded fiberglass looks expensive up front but barely loses value. It can hold a huge share of its price at 5 years, while the laminated trailer bleeds. Net cost of ownership can actually favor the expensive one. The drawback is real though. Molded fiberglass means tight interiors, small floor plans, high entry price, and long wait lists. So who should buy? A couple or a solo traveler who wants durability and resale over square footage? Who should skip? If you need bunks and open space for grandkids every weekend, this isn't your rig. You can't delaminate a wall that was never glued together. And before we get to number 1, tell me what you'd rather own. Cheaper this year or cheaper after 5 years of repairs? That one's about the walls. The next is about a brand whose chassis is perfectly fine, but whose name costs you thousands over the identical rig parked right next to it. Number 3. The Premium Trim Class C. A retired Ford stamping plant line supervisor, 28 years on the floor, and his wife, who'd run a dental front desk, stood staring at a $14,000 jump between 2 Class C motorhomes. Careful people, not careless with money. They wanted the upscale trim because it felt nicer inside, so I told them to look under both, and they saw it themselves. On the right model years, a Jayco Greyhawk and a Redhawk ride the same Ford E450 chassis with the same 7.3-liter V8 doing all the hard work. That is where the pretty coach starts losing. The stuff that determines whether this thing runs at 200,000 miles is identical between them. The steering, the suspension, the drivetrain, the Ford service access on every route in the country, all shared. So if the expensive badge is asking 14 grand more, it had better buy you something real, not just nicer cabinets and upgraded upholstery. Do that math out loud. $14,000 is a full roof budget, a set of tires, and a year of maintenance spent on veneer. Both units age the same mechanically. The premium buyer just paid more to depreciate faster. The drawback of the cheaper trim is honest. Plainer interior, fewer comforts. It can feel a little base. So who should buy the value trim? Anybody who cares about the chassis more than the cabinets. Who should skip? If you genuinely love the upgraded interior and you'll keep it a decade, the premium won't sting as much. You can reupholster a couch. You can't re-engineer a chassis. Pay for the one that's already right. That's badge markup on a good chassis. The next brand's problem is worse. You can't even get it serviced when it breaks. Number 2. The rare boutique coach nobody else has. A retired IT project manager fell hard for an unusual imported coach with a clever layout he'd never seen anywhere else. Beautiful thing. Then I asked him one question that killed the room. Where's he getting it serviced when it breaks down in the middle of a cross-country trip? The nearest dealer for that brand was 3 states away. Silence. This is the line item that saves people. Serviceability and parts availability are worth more than any clever feature the second something goes wrong. A distinctive floor plan feels like a win on the lot. It becomes a nightmare when you're stranded and no shop within 400 miles stocks the part. A boring, well-supported coach, something like a leisure travel vans unit on a Mercedes or Ford chassis, wins precisely because it can be fixed almost anywhere, and it holds resale because the market trusts it. Run the math. The orphan brand's savings vanish in one stranded repair with a tow bill and 3 weeks of downtime. The drawback of the popular, serviceable brand is that it rarely goes on deep discount, and strong resale means fewer bargains. So who should buy it? Snowbirds and cross-country travelers who need to be fixable anywhere. Who should skip? If you stay local and live near that boutique brand's one service center, chase the unicorn all you want. A clever floor plan won't get you home. A common part will. That covers gas coaches and boutique rigs. Number 1 is the one buyers fear most on price, and it's the cheapest mistake headache-free rig on this entire list once you run the years. Number 1. The used diesel pusher everybody thinks is too much coach. A retired couple came in, and he'd run a small trucking outfit for decades, so he knew diesel's cold. But his wife was terrified of buying an old, expensive bus, and he'd almost talked himself out of it. They were leaning toward a brand new gas coach instead, because new felt safer, smaller sticker, not old. So I sat them down and ran the actual numbers on a used diesel pusher versus that shiny new gas coach. This is what changes the whole deal. Depreciation is the single biggest cost in RV ownership, bigger than fuel, bigger than repairs. And on a used diesel pusher, the first owner already ate it. A Tiffin Phaeton that's stickered near $378,000 new can show up used around $198,000. That's not cheap, but the first owner already took a $180,000 beating, so you don't have to. You skip the steepest part of the curve entirely, and now you've got a truck-grade Freightliner chassis, a Cummins diesel, an Allison transmission, and a real service network at truck stops across the country. Here's the hesitation reversal. Buyers fear the diesel maintenance and the age, but that commercial drivetrain outlasts a gas coach by a wide margin. The chassis is built for 1,000,000 miles, and the depreciation pain is already paid off. Cost per year can actually beat that new gas coach. Now the drawback, because I won't pretend. Diesel service is genuinely expensive per visit. Tires on a coach this size are a serious budget line, so check the date codes before you get excited. It's big, it needs a confident driver, and you must inspect the service records and fluids. So who should buy? Serious full-timers and long-haul snowbirds who'll actually use it enough to earn the drivetrain. Who should skip? If you camp 3 weekends a year, the diesel advantage is wasted on you. New feels safe, but new is where you lose the most money the fastest. Let the first owner take that hit for you. So look at what actually survives. The heavier fifth wheel, where the weight is real structure, the quiet brand that outseals the famous one, the trailer whose permanent discount was a warning label, the molded shell that won't delaminate, the cheaper trim on the exact same chassis, the boring coach you can actually get fixed on the road, and the used diesel where somebody else already paid the depreciation. The brands technicians quietly avoid aren't bad because they're cheap. They're avoided because their weakest part is the one the salesman spends the least time discussing. Dealers will keep selling what moves fastest. I'll keep telling you what survives. Find me a better owned rig than that used diesel for the money. I've been looking for years, and I can't. Comment what you want me to tear apart next. The tow vehicles that quietly ruin good trailers, the Class C mistakes buyers keep repeating, or the fifth wheels I wouldn't park in my own driveway. Because the worst mistakes on the lot always look reasonable until somebody crawls underneath.